Hi, I'm Gary Smith. Developed by the Department of Energy, the Home Energy Score provides information about a home's energy use. Similar to an MPG rating for a car, it reports the home's efficiency on a simple 1 to 10 scale, where a 10 represents the most efficient homes. The inspection needed to provide the data is performed by home inspectors. Brent Loya has been presented with the Innovation Award for 2018 by the Department of Energy, and he and his company, IDENERGY, helps inspectors become assessors. Listen to my conversation with Brent Loya. Welcome back. I've got Brent Loya in the house. He's going to talk about the home energy score. Hi, Brent. Glad to see you, my friend. Tell us more.
Thank you so much for having me on. Really excited about it. Yeah, I've been working with the Home Energy Score program for a little over 2 years now personally, and really have put a huge component into working directly with the home inspection industry. So again, really excited to be here and talking about the program with you.
Thank you much. And I noticed that you're in our big group where our primary audience is home inspectors. And we have a 4,500 member group open to homeowners. If you're listening in, homeowners, so you're welcome to hang out with us, or real estate agents or subcontractors, really anyone who's interested in knowing more about the home inspection profession. You know, in thinking about talking with you today, we obviously, as a homeowner, if my home scores, this thing scores a 10, it's 0 to 10. And if my home scores a 2, what next?
So that's the big worry, right? And I do a lot of classes with realtors directly. We do realtor CE classes and so forth. And it's literally one of the sections is ones and twos and threes. Oh no. And everyone's always, especially the realtor and as a home inspector working with those relationships, you're worried about it too. So the big component of it is that even if a home scores low, it's still going to give, let's just say for the buyer in this situation, mostly what a home inspector is going to be working with, they're still going to get some immensely valuable information out of it, including the estimated annual energy cost. So when they're looking at that house, they can say, okay, this is what I can estimate my monthly bills to be. They can see the recommendations for how to improve that over time. So I like to call it their total investment opportunity in that house. Typically, a low score is going to come from two different places. An old home that's outdated and needs renovations anyway. So if somebody's looking at a home like that, they might already understand or assume that these types of renovations are going to be needed over time. This is going to help them out, getting them on track to what renovations they need to do, how much money they can save doing that. And secondly, it's low scores happen in large homes because it takes more energy to heat and cool a larger volume and larger space. So again, when someone's buying a 4,000, 5,000 square foot home, they probably assume a little bit already that it's going to cost more energy wise than if they were buying a 2,000 square foot home. So that's kind of how I explain it to both the inspector and the client. Now, for the realtor, the big proponent is that it's shown now in studies that just listing and giving the utility or energy costs for a home, whether high or low, is going to help make that consumer more comfortable in moving forward with the home. It's a part of consumer protection. And it's shown not to turn them off from the home, but to make them more confident in saying, okay, we understand, we feel more confident in moving forward with this purchase. So it can be, you can really turn that around for somebody and make it a big positive to say, hey, now you know.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And the primary function or the way that this happens is primarily through the home inspection profession. There are some raters that do that, or is this would you think that this home energy score is a lower on the bar, a lower version of what a rater might provide?
Yeah.
The data is fairly it's good data, not to take away from it, but it's handled through a home inspector, and it's modeling software. Talk about SIM.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, yeah, as far as the energy ratings go, most typically guys are familiar with like the ResNet HERS rating. This is not that. That is a full out, inspection and system with blower doors and duct blasters. This is meant to be simplified. So, for example, I mentor tons of guys across the country, and a lot of them, I mentor them on their own home. So when we complete the report and bring it out, and it says this is your estimated annual or your estimated energy use today, I say, hey, how does that relate to your bills that you're paying? Because this is your house. And typically, I'd say 90% of the time it's within plus or minus $100 of the annual cost. So a really good estimate. So even though we're simplifying it and we're making it very easy to do with the home inspection, it's still going to give that consumer, the buyer or homeowner, a really robust amount of information. Now, with the sim, the online simulator is the first part of a two-part training requirement. It's basically like playing a video game online. You're walking through houses. It's actually literally the same program, the same lab who created this sim. It's the same training for that ResNet HERS rating. Again, this is just simplified into the data points that we're collecting for the home energy score. So I will say it has proven to be difficult. I've probably done it over a dozen times. I do classes all over the country teaching these, bringing inspectors through the sim training. And more than anything, it's not about the data or the knowledge base of it. It's literally the technology. And granted, a lot of inspectors are 50 plus, let's just say, and these guys have a little bit of harder time, a little bit steeper of a learning curve to just using the technology. Again, not knowledge based. These guys know this. So with that, at IDENERGY, we've created step-by-step tutorial videos that you get a part of our services, and then we do these classroom trainings as well. To get guys through this easily and in a day, so they can really get that knowledge, get that experience, but not get frustrated with all that technology and video game type of gaming stuff.
So it's not the huge mountain to climb that you might think it might be, that if you're thinking about a rater and all of the classes and the courses, and it takes 2 or 3 weeks to become a rater, and the types of things. Now, I would imagine, though, it would be very helpful if a home inspector had some building science, basic building science background, or understood the principles of building science. Wouldn't that help becoming an assessor?
Absolutely. And, I feel like there are a lot of great home inspectors out there with that knowledge, coming from, whatever contracting backgrounds and so forth. And again, we're looking at it in a basic sense. So, you don't need to be a building analyst or anything like that. But at the same time, yes, I agree. We do want you to have that building science knowledge. And through the sim, and then the second part of the DOE required training is to be mentored. You do get that snapshot. You do get that grasp on the data that we're looking for, why and how it all correlates together. When you're getting these 45 data points, by the time you get through the mentorship, it all starts to click in, especially, again, guys doing the mentoring on their own house. They kind of say, oh, I get it now, like how my ducts are sealed in conditioned space or unconditioned space or unsealed, and how that affects the total envelope of the home. And so it really does click. On top of that, we also include quality assurance on your initial or first 5 reports you do once you are mentored. So basically, on the first 5 that you do out there, we're kind of you're doing it professionally for money as a part of your company, but we're out there holding your hand, making sure that not that we're keeping tabs on you, but we want to make sure you're confident and comfortable doing this. So we really put a lot of effort into making guys really great at this, because it is something that's simple, and it is something that's going to give a lot of quality information, but we want you to be knowledgeable about it, to talk to your client about it, to talk to your realtors about it, and again, to be really confident in being able to perform this.
Right. So in today's world, it is impossible to avoid politics. So let's address the politics of the whole concept. And this is still voluntary, right? This type of inspection is elective.
Absolutely. So right now, the only place where it is mandatory is in Portland, Oregon. That started January 1st, 2018. And in order to have your home listed on the public MLS, you must get a home energy score. And so it's a little different. It's the seller's responsibility, and again, it's for consumer protection.
Mhm,
Mostly is their
mhm, mhm.
methodology behind it. Also, being Portland on the West Coast, they're concerned with efficiency, sustainability, carbon footprints. This is a way
Sure.
for them saying, hey, we have however many tens of thousand residential homes. If everybody just increased their score 1 or 2 points, that would bring our carbon footprint down
Sure.
immensely. Like,
The
look,
impact, the
exactly.
impact on. Mhm.
So that is cool, but I talk to a lot of guys who are really behind that and they really believe it, and a lot of guys who say, that's not their right to tell me that I have to do this. I
Right.
think it's a
So,
good thing, but
so
it's not their
yeah,
right.
yeah. So last month, the Massachusetts Senate bill introduced to mandate the energy score was killed, citing the requirement would. And let me just read a couple of things because I've got
Please.
both sides of this. So the requirement would interfere with the real estate market. It would cost and complicate an already complex transaction. It would or could stigmatize certain properties. It could or would target homeowners who cannot afford certain upgrades or repairs as a result of the assessment. And it could potentially raise some constitutional or privacy concerns. Proponents, however, of the bill argued it's a consumer protection issue, as you've mentioned. Automakers were once strongly against a miles per gallon sticker on cars, and we have that now, and it certainly is not caused any problems. I think it's helped personally. Proponents also say that providing information and incentives to button up the housing stock would provide a broad economic and environmental benefits, which I totally agree with, and would help lower income homeowners who pay higher energy bills. So I see both sides of the argument, but we're talking more of a mandate rather than an elective. And so if home inspectors are out there considering this when marketing the service, how would you pitch this inspection service? How do we stay out of the weeds of the political battle?
Absolutely, and just to reference that is yes, in Massachusetts, the bill's been smashed for now, but this is coming across the country. It's not the only place. There's actually legislation going on right now in New York, and there's a pilot program that I'm actually the program support and quality assurance provider for in the city and county of Denver. There's some other cities that for the moment I will keep hush hush that are running through some legislation. And from what I've heard on kind of the energy grapevine is that there's over 50 other cities across the country considering a similar program. It
And
might
I
differ.
understand Vermont has some pretty interesting stuff going on too as well.
Yeah, and there's some other cities that do some similar type stuff, not specifically with the home energy score. Austin, Texas, I believe Santa Fe, New Mexico, and then Berkeley, California does use the home energy score, but it's a little less strict as the Portland policy. So there is a lot of things coming across, and just for reference, if you go to the UK or Germany or Australia, they've had a basic mandated energy score, a building energy rating for almost the last 10 years. So when you look at it from a worldly view, we're behind, and so we're
We're
kind of
getting
coming
there.
around
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah, we're getting
Um,
there. Mm-hmm.
so for a home inspector though, using this, and funny enough, we have a Facebook group as well for home energy score assessors. If you're interested, if you're training, if you're approved and out there doing it. And one of the questions I get all the time and got the other day is my utility company does energy audits for free. How do I compete with that? How do I compete with free? And it kind of is in the same context. So how do you sell this as a home inspector?
Mm-hmm.
So I tell guys, one, with the utility company, the big difference is when you're working with the buyer, they can't call their utility company and say, "Hey, I'm interested in this house. I don't own it. I don't live there, but maybe can you guys do this free energy report?" And they're going to say, "Sorry, sir or ma'am, no, we can't." So this gives them the opportunity to get that information up front as a part of their home inspection. Kind of keep everything in one place, make it easy. They don't need to hire a home inspector, an energy auditor, a termite guy, a WDO, or a 4-point guy, whatever. They can get a home inspector. You can do it all at one time for them, which is my big argument. And secondly, is this is something that with consumers, this is the program's biggest problem right now, is that consumers want this, but they don't know they can get it. So with these mandates kind of coming up in the news, the good thing is that across the country, if it's not happening in your area, it might not be a point of discussion. People are still hearing about it, and they're saying, "Oh, I didn't even know you could do that." So what our goal is at IDENERGY in working with home inspectors is almost like home inspections 25, 30 years ago. Nobody, a very small percentage of people actually got them. And it was the home inspectors who banded together, who created associations, who started really a movement and got people to understand that, hey,
got the word out.
Exactly.
Right.
That you need to do this because this is important. Again, I mean, what is a home inspection for? For your consumer protection. So that's what we believe working with home inspectors. The more and more of you who offer this to your clients, and more clients who get this and understand it and find it valuable, the more and more clients that will come to you asking for it.
Right.
So
I've taken the course, and this kind of segues into my next point. I've taken the course. So how do I get hired? I've seen a find an assessor map on the DOE website.
Yep.
I'm a homeowner, I'm concerned, I'm interested, and I see this find an assessor map on the DOE website. But when I click on each state, I see a link to an inspection association or to a state power association. I noticed that the links are set up as a partner. Talk about the network of partners. Can a home inspector be a partner?
Sure. Yeah. And it is a little bit confusing. It's not the first time someone's asked me to explain it. So if you think of it kind of as a pyramid, let's just say, obviously the U.S. Department of Energy team is at the top. They've created and administer the program. The program itself relies on different partners across the country to basically be in charge of the assessors themselves, to get the assessors on board, to make sure that they're trained properly, to make sure that they're receiving quality assurance and all of the other DOE requirements. So the DOE team relies on these partners to really kind of spread the wings of the program. So there are, I think, 30 plus partners across the country, ranging from utilities to nonprofits to associations and people like ourselves at IDENERGY. Now these partners, so when you become so let's take it for home inspectors. Basically, if you are a home inspector, you have to work through a partner association and you have to have what we call a relevant credential. And for home inspectors, that is being an IDENERGY certified inspector or an ASHI certified inspector. Both IDENERGY and ASHI are partners. Some people who are ASHI or IDENERGY certified come through us as a partner. It's all up to you. I'm not going to push you either way. We're happy to have you in the program, and we work equally with both associations, and both associations get the same deals and costs coming through us, which we really try to give the home inspectors the best deal and cut of services. Again, we really are pushing the home inspection industry. We really believe this is placed to be most beneficial for your industry. So with those partners, a home inspector themselves technically can't become a partner. I would say potentially if you own or have a multi-inspector firm that is a larger entity, we're talking 10, 15, 20 plus inspectors, a larger company, there could be potential for you to become a partner because there are requirements. You have to do a certain amount of scores a year. You have to, adhere to a certain amount of responsibilities. But ultimately, it's really great to work through one of the partners, as is ourselves, ASHI and or IDENERGY. All wonderful to work with, and all will get you in the program and directly work with us, and we'll make sure that you're successful with it.
And there's an application path for that. And can we leave a link in our show notes to that path?
Absolutely, yeah.
On becoming a partner? Okay, we'll do that as well.
Yeah, right, yeah, good. Definitely.
Good. So this is not a for sale only program, meaning I don't have to be selling. So this winds up being if you're looking at it from a potential source of income and an ancillary inspection for a home inspector, you don't have to be in a sale transaction in order to sell, in air quotes, this business venture. No?
No, you don't have to be in a real estate transaction to get a home energy score. It just works really well for that. The information that's provided, especially for a buyer, again, is really valuable. But let's say there's another technique out there that some guys do. When you get a handful or more of these under your belt, it's really easy to collect the data that you need for the home energy score. You're already looking at the components throughout a home inspection. So to collect a little extra data might take you 5, 10, 15 extra minutes. And so there's some guys out there that they'll collect this data just as a part of their inspection, and they'll do their follow-up with their client 6 months later after they've lived in the home a handful of months and say, hey, by the way, if you'd like, I can run your home energy score. I still have that data for you. Or, hey, if they didn't get the data, you can say, hey, you've been in the home for a little while now. What are your energy bills like? Do you feel comfortable? We've gotten through summer. We're getting into winter. Was it hard to keep your house cool in the summer? So right now it's a good time.
After they moved in, you reach back out and touch them and touch points, which keeps your name in front of them, becomes a branding or marketing effort so that they may remember you. One of the quick story, I'm buying a tag at my local courthouse, and a couple is standing behind me. They're there to go through the application process for their homeowners for their taxes, and I asked them. Noticed they were kind of whispering, talking about just moving in and that kind of thing. And I asked them who did their inspection, and they hadn't just moved in like a month after the inspection had been performed and couldn't remember the inspector's name. Which it is such a challenge because of the type of job we do. We're only there with the client for sometimes 5 or 10 minutes doing a review. For some states, they just don't really push or require a home inspector and a homeowner to be together for very long. In some areas, it's the entire inspection amount. It's typical, but I could see where if you're doing this type of data gathering and you're reaching out to them later, the basis for a deeper marketing path you could use this path as a way to have as a branding effect.
Absolutely. And it is great because you don't get that opportunity a lot of times to check back with the client. And this is, again, a great way to be able to do that, that people will find very, very valuable, especially, if they've lived in the house for a while and they are seeing that their energy bills are higher. They are seeing that, hey, I got my AC on 65 all day and I'm still sweating in my house. You can really help them out in that way. And then as a bigger note for marketing, once you're in the program and you're able to use the US DOE logos and materials and images, I like to say, kind of my phrase is that the DOE isn't just a national department, it's a recognized and valued brand. And so being able to use that to show your abilities and show your, just the robustness of being an inspector, it's going to help you sell more jobs. I was at the IDENERGY conference in Atlantic City. I had a new assessor. He had just finished his mentoring and put his logo up on his website. And he comes to me and goes, hey, I'm so excited. I just had someone call me to book an inspection. And they told me, hey, I was looking at 3 guys and I saw you do the U.S. Department of Energy home energy score. So that's why I picked you. I think that's really cool. So he got the home inspection just because of it. So,
Yeah,
you know,
the
really,
perks. Those
exactly.
perks.
So it really can
let
help
me
you grow both your home inspections and your ancillary services.
So let's talk about where's the money? How can a homeowner pay for the repairs that you've either identified? Are there funding options for that? Do you know of funding options that are available for a
So
homeowner?
each state is different, of course. So you know, I highly recommend looking into what type of energy incentives your state offers. Whether if you buy Energy Star equipment, or you know, you have your insulation at a certain value, you know, people will get rebates for certain types of things. You know, I tell guys, again, when we're talking about those free utility audits, maybe they get a home energy score when they're looking at the home and you're doing their home inspection. You know, it's a great thing to recommend, and just add that level of customer service to say, hey, this is your score today and everything. Once you move in, if you choose to buy this house, call your utility company. They'll at least get you some free LED bulbs. They'll show you what incentives are available here through them or through the state. And, you know, we can really get you moving forward with this. Again, people make the most home improvements within the first year moving into a house. So it's a great time to give them those recommendations to help them move forward. Now, home inspectors themselves typically, whether it's kind of an association ethic or just their own, they'll give them recommendations, but most home inspectors won't say, oh, this says you need a new furnace and this says you need ceilings and ducts. I got a great HVAC guy. Let me send them over to you. So a lot of times we'll just say, hey, you know, check out the local utility, check out, you know, your local home performance contractor, show them this home energy score, follow these recommendations, and you'll be on the way to success.
Great information, Brent. Super nice to talk to you. Excited about this path. It's been coming. I've watched it. Introduced in 2015, I believe.
Yes. It started a little before that, but that's when it was introduced to the inspection industry, and that's how we got involved. You know, it was introduced to ASHI and IDENERGY, but people didn't really have a way to get mentored, to have program support, to get quality assurance, and so I helped design this program. And we got it off to the races, and we started everything with the home inspection industry. It was all designed around what we already do in the inspection industry, as far as taking photos, how we collect data and do our inspections. And that has become a broader and bigger scale now. So what the home inspection industry has helped us do for them, it's now growing, and I work with cities, utilities, home performance contractors. But again, our primary focus is the home inspector. We really and truly believe that this industry is best suited for being the most successful with the program.
So I'm interested. I'm a home inspector, and what's the best way to contact you?
So you can contact us. Best way, one, if you want some more information, you want to watch some videos on why this is good to include in your business, how to sell it, the process of training, go to our website. It's energyscoreusa.com. There's lots of information on there. You can email us at homeenergyscore@inspectiondepot.com, and you know, or you can get at us on Facebook or on our Facebook group. Just search Home Energy Score Assessors, or go to the IDENERGY Facebook group and Facebook page and check out the group. There's a lot of different resources that we're putting out there for you guys. Again, we want to educate you. We want you to be able to make an educated decision on this being a successful and profitable inclusion into your services. We all run a business, and we want you to be successful with that as well. And we really think there's a huge demand.
Super. We'll obviously add those links into the show notes. It's been a pleasure speaking with you about this path, and we'd love to have you back if you have any late breaking news or anything going on that if the program changes or something, we'd love to have you back and talk about it.
Oh, I always got a couple things in my back pocket, Gary. I'll be back with you.